Welcome to Sunday School for our junior high students for October 22nd, 2023. The Bible basis is coming out of Genesis chapter 21, verses 13 through 14, then verses 17 through 21, Genesis chapter 26, verses 2 through 5, and then verses 12 through 13. The title of our story, You Are My Sunshine. Candy loved her father like flowers love sunshine. He supported her during each dance recital, all birthday celebrations, and every major event in her life. When she broke her ankle during a dance rehearsal and needed emergency surgery, he flew in that same day from Arizona to be with her. She was her dad's youngest child, and he nicknamed her Sunshine, even though Candy and her dad had a great relationship. Her relationship with her older siblings was not so great. They treated her like an outsider and a misfit. She felt that they resented her because their father was remarried and had another family. Despite living in another state, he tried to love and support her as best as he could. Even though he was a successful businessman, he always found time to talk with his Candy. Candy had a difficult time when her father died from a heart attack. She was happy her mom was able to come along with her to Arizona for the funeral. It was already hard dealing with her father's sudden death, but she also had to deal with her stepbrothers and stepsisters' resentment toward her. Candy prayed and asked God for help during this tumultuous time. God answered her prayers. When she and her mother arrived at the funeral, her stepbrothers and stepsisters treated them warmly. Later on that week, when her father's will was read, they embraced her like a real sister. While on the plane coming back home, it seemed as if the sun shone extra bright. Candy immediately thought about her dad's song for her, You Are My Sunshine. The memory verse for today's lesson. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called, and also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And that's Genesis chapter 21, verses 12 and 13. The lesson scripture. Genesis chapter 21, verses 13 through 14, verses 17 through 21, and then Genesis chapter 26, verses 2 through 5, and then verses 12 through 13. And this is the King James Version. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord appeared unto him, and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Then Isaac sowed in that land, and received in the same year 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. A blessing for Ishmael and Isaac. Isaac was the promised child of Abraham and Sarah. God told this couple that they would have a child despite years of waiting. During the process of waiting, Sarah thought she would take matters into her own hands. She told her husband to have a child with her handmaiden, the Egyptian slave woman Hagar. Together they conceived a son named Ishmael. Even though this was Abraham's son, he was not the son God promised. Ishmael was called the son of the flesh, and Isaac was called the child of the promise. In the end, God blessed both of them because they both bore Abraham's blood. God promised blessings for them both. How to love your neighbor as believers should. Number 1, view everyone as God sees them. Number 2, remember the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. Number 3, forgive quickly. Number 4, express your concerns in peace. Sibling rivalry. The circumstance surrounding one's birth can affect a child's identity and self-worth. Where does a child find his or her identity and self-worth? Despite the circumstances of their births, God promised to create great nations through both Ishmael and Isaac. In the story today, Candy faces sibling rivalry that could damage her self-worth, but the love of her father strengthens her, just like Abraham. Candy's father loved her just like he loved his other children. She was a great part of her father's life while he was living and even after his death. Ishmael and Isaac were Abraham's offspring, and God blessed them. This strengthened their character and confirmed their identity. Candy was her father's offspring, and he honored his daughter. What do you think causes sibling rivalry? I am significant. Describe a life event that helped you realize that you are a person of significance. Describe how you felt strong and validated because of it. The daily Bible readings for the week. Monday, the topic is one greater than Jacob. Read John chapter 4, verses 1 through 15. Tuesday, the topic is the plot to gain a blessing. Read Genesis chapter 27, verses 1 through 10. Wednesday, the topic is planning the deception. Read Genesis chapter 27, verses 11 through 17. Thursday, the topic is a blessing gained through deceit. Read Genesis chapter 27, verses 18 through 29. Friday, the topic is Jacob received God's blessing. Read Genesis chapter 32, verses 22 through 30. Saturday, the topic is Jacob's name changed to Israel. Read Genesis chapter 35, verses 9 through 15. Sunday, the topic is God's assurance for Jacob. Read Genesis chapter 28, verse 1, and then verses 10 through 22. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.